Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and you might have already heard of Wealthsimple, the low or no fee trading app built right here in Canada. But what you might not have heard is that just a couple months ago, they actually received a huge amount of investment from a bunch of different investment firms, as well as some celebrities you might have heard of, Drake, Ryan Reynolds, and my personal favorite, former Toronto Maple Leaf, Patrick Marleau. And they actually invested up to $750 million in this company just recently. Obviously, they think Wealthsimple is going to be a pretty big deal in the future, and I can see why, because Wealthsimple keeps on rolling out different features that's making it easier for the average Canadian to trade. And that's actually what happened just recently, because Wealthsimple put forward a brand new feature that allows absolutely any Canadian to invest with as little as $1. So in this video, we're going to go over what exactly this new feature is, how you can use it, what you could potentially consider investing in with it, along with some warnings that I have. I'm going to save this till the end about some hidden issues that you should probably know about. But before we dive into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And by the way, if you ever want to sign up for Wealthsimple throughout this video, you can click the link down there in the description and sign up. And when you fund your account with $100, you get 25 bucks for free, and you can actually send that referral out to some of your friends too, maybe make a little bit more cash. And also check out the Canada Money Mastery program, 40% off with the coupon code GROW. The link's down there in the description where we talk all about building wealth in Canada. All right, now let's dive into all this. This new feature just launched by Wealthsimple is actually something that's been super popular in the States with trading platforms like Robinhood and I think a couple other ones. And I'll show you it because they actually just put this out on their website. This new feature is called Fractional Shares, and it sort of has this fancy graphic of this diamond shattering into a bunch of different pieces. And that's actually a good way of putting it, because that's kind of what this Fractional Shares option allows you to do as an investor in Canada. Now, typically in Canada, if you wanted to buy a stock in a company, you'd have to save up all of the money to buy that share, that stock in the company in full for whatever price that was. What Fractional Shares allows you to do is to buy a portion of a share instead of having to buy the full share. Now, this is super helpful for big companies like Amazon. Take a look at this. This is the stock price of Amazon as of today, and it's $3,579 US, so even more Canadian. So it can be a little bit daunting and a little bit intimidating for the average Canadian investor to try to invest in big companies like this, because hey, not everybody has $4,000 to lay down on an investment willy-nilly. Now, sometimes when companies get so big that their stock price goes up into these inaccessible ranges, they'll do something called a stock split, where they essentially cut all the shares that exist in half. If you had one, now you have two, but it's worth half the amount, so that new people who want to invest in the stock can buy in. But we have no control over when a company does this or how we can even track when they will. But this Fractional Shares function that's now inside of Wealthsimple allows you to be the one to determine how much you want to invest in any given company. And I'm going to walk you through this in just a moment on how exactly you can do it, but there are a couple issues with this program that we have to talk about first. First off, as of right now, there are only 14 companies in which this Fractional Shares program is actually available on Wealthsimple as of right now. That's Shopify, Royal Bank of Canada, RBC, TD Bank, and Canada National Railway, and then a whole bunch, and they seem very heavily focused on this, and we'll talk about this a little bit more further in this video. They focus very heavily on American tech stocks, otherwise known broadly as FANG stocks. That usually stands for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, and those are all included in this list, along with some other ones like Microsoft, Tesla, Airbnb, Coinbase, and Nvidia. And I do have a couple warnings when it comes to some of these American stocks, specifically on ways that you can sort of save on fees, as well as some potential issues that could have you paying more in taxes. But we'll get to that in just a moment, because now I want to walk you through exactly how this works on your mobile phone, which is where most people use their Wealthsimple accounts. Now, if you haven't already set up a Wealthsimple Trade account, there's a link in the description where you can do so. Again, you can get 25 bucks for free when you fund it with $100. And I recommend that you open up a TFSA investment account. That's a tax-free savings account where you're not going to be taxed on the gains of your investments, but most of you have probably already done that. And now you can actually see inside of your Wealthsimple app, if you click that search button, it's going to come up here with this new option called Fractional Trading, and it's going to show us that list of stocks that we just went over that are now available for this Fractional Trading program. And you can see some of the stock prices of these stocks that are included in the program are a little bit more expensive than the other ones, and that's the ones that I think are actually most beneficial for this Fractional Trading program. program because it makes it way more accessible for people to get into. Let's take a look, for instance, at Shopify. Right now, that's a $1,932 stock, not the most accessible for people who are just getting started to get in on, but now we can see this new sort of function popping up here that says fractional trading is available. So let's find out how exactly this works. We're going to click buy, and we're going to see if we can input what amount we want to buy with this fractional program. We're going to do it inside of our TFSA, like I said before. Okay, and so it'll show you the normal market buy page where you can buy full amounts of stocks, but it seems like if you tap down here, there's actually a fractional buy option. So if we go into fractional buy, it gives us a little bit of information. It says a fractional buy allows you to purchase a fraction of the share. We know that. This type of order is executed at the end of the trading day, so you won't know the exact quantity until it's filled. Okay, that's a little bit interesting. The way this works is likely throughout the day when Wealthsimple sees that people want to buy fractional shares, they'll sort of like bucket those all together with all of the shares that people have wanted to buy fractionally, and then that way they can determine how many shares they need to buy in order to actually fulfill that fractional order at the end of the day, but that doesn't matter too much for the average typical investor. We'll go forward here and click continue, and okay, now it does allow us to enter how much we want to actually spend on this share. So we can actually probably enter just $1 and see if we can buy just $1 of a Shopify share, essentially one that would be $1,900 otherwise. So we're going to click continue, and then it says it's the same sort of share. It says it's $1 is going to get us 0.0005% of a share and zero commission because it's a Canadian stock. We're going to talk more about that in a second. And the cost that I'm paying is $1. That sounds good. I'll click confirm order. We go through this sending order and order sent. So like I said before, that order will likely execute at the end of the day once they determine, hey, how many people are going to want to buy fractional shares of Shopify. And you can follow the same process with any of the stocks on the list, but now I want to get into a couple warnings that you may not be thinking of if you're just getting started investing here, some things that could cost you a little bit more money than you otherwise would have expected. You'll notice that most of the stocks on here are actually American stocks. Now, Wealthsimple makes most of its money on currency conversion fees because they don't charge commissions for Canadian and ETF trades. They need to make money somehow, and they do that by taking that conversion fee. Right? So let me show you how that would work in here. If I wanted to buy Amazon, if I were to go in here and to buy it fractionally, the same way that we've done before, going into fractional buy, continue, and if I wanted to buy, say, $50 of Amazon, I click continue, and now it's actually going to, and it didn't on the Shopify because that's a Canadian stock, but you can see right here the estimated exchange rate, including a 1.5% fee. So that's the fee that a Wealthsimple trade charges you to trade in a foreign currency, a US dollar currency. And that will happen both when you buy the fractional share and when you sell it. Because currently, right now, Wealthsimple doesn't allow you to hold US dollars in your account. That means when you sell a US stock, you don't actually get to get US dollars back. It automatically will convert and take that fee for you. So if you're going to be buying and selling frequently, this can definitely add up and it can make a big impact on your investment returns. So I'd watch out for that, especially if you're trading with high frequency. The next thing I want to talk about as a little bit of a warning is dividends. So if you've been following the channel, you'll likely already know that dividends allow you to invest in a company, and that company will actually pay you back additional funds 4 times a year, every 3 months, just for investing in that company. They sort of spread out their revenue across their shareholders through dividend payments. Now, this is a great thing for people who are investing in Canada, but there's one thing you need to watch out for if you're buying American stocks that give you dividends. You'll see here that on the fractional trading menu, there's actually companies that are American companies that will pay you dividend yield, such as Microsoft. Here we can click onto it. If we scroll down, you'll see the bottom right stat there. It says yield 0.79%. That's their dividend yield. Now, usually this is a great thing. This is a great idea because, like, hey, we're going to get paid regularly just for holding the stock we otherwise would have wanted to hold. But the only problem is, for most investors, they're going to be investing inside of a TFSA, or a tax-free savings investment account. Now, this is where things get interesting when you start earning American income from your dividends inside of your TFSA. Because of certain laws and regulations, any dividend income earned on US stocks inside of a TFSA, well, that's actually taxable income, and it can make your tax situation a little bit more complex come tax time if you also have to calculate how much tax you need to pay on the dividends that were paid out to you inside of your TFSA investment account. So those are a couple of things that you should consider and at least think about a little bit before you buy these stocks with this fractional shares program, or if you buy any stocks on Wealthsimple, just think about those two aspects that can kind of come back to bite you if you're not thinking about it. But all in all, I think this fractional shares program is actually a huge positive, especially because it's not something that's been largely available here in Canada, and it allows investors, even if they feel like, hey, I don't have a lot left over at the end of the month once I've paid rent and paid for my food and all of these other expenses, I don't have a lot to invest. Well, now you can invest slowly over time into various stocks, even if you only have a few dollars left. And I'm curious what you think about this new option for investors and the growth of Wealthsimple over the past couple of years, because it's really blowing up, even if it does have some sort of odd ways that it goes forward with its crypto investing side of things, but that's a video for another time. And while you're down there, if you're signing up for a Wealthsimple account, make sure to use that link in the description, because you wouldn't want to miss out on that $25 free when you fund your account with $100. And again, you can check out the coupon code GROW for the Canada Money Mastery Program, where we talk all about building wealth here in Canada. And with all that said, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.